I'm Rachel Lewis and I'm a sales manager at Turner Media Innovations. Because I did a degree in drama and dance and I'd always sort of done drama, and actually it's because of Waitoring. I did, when I finished university, there was just something being promoted at the YMCA, which was a homeless theatre piece that a friend of mine was doing, and while I was there it was the same venue as Waitoring. They were auditioning. I applied and got the job. Mainly theatre, quite a lot of theatre and education. Did 2 small parts on EastEnders, playing a nurse. A theme, I played a policewoman and a nurse about 4 times in different soaps. I was in The Inner Circle first, and then I did Connected, and then I worked at Waitoring in the office sort of for a while. And then I did The Gift briefly, just like it was a one-day show that they did at the Genome Centre. Loads. I mean, absolutely loads out of it. Over my time, it's definitely the best work that I did. I think you have to perform. I think that there's a kind of sometimes a point of view, there certainly was in the old days, that, if you're doing any sort of theatre and education, it's going to be second rate. I think always the writing in Waitoring plays is fantastic, and I think they expect that you will perform well every time you perform it, no matter where you are. And I think they always seem to employ company managers, in my experience, that are critiquing. They come back, Nigel will come back in and have a kind of hygiene check on the play after a few weeks, so that you're not really gone off on a tangent. So learning the craft of acting was definitely one of the kind of great things about it. I think the camaraderie, maybe I was fortunate, but I worked with 2 fantastic companies, and it's just a really enjoyable experience and really hard work. In terms of, I think there's a sort of, in the old days of Waitoring, there was, I don't know it as it is now, and it's really moved on as a company, I think another sort of 10 notches. There was a sort of family environment too, but in terms of professionalism, in terms of, rehearsing, putting on a good show, all of that, I would say it's on a par with anywhere else I've kind of worked. I think it's great for the kids. I think it's fantastic for the kids, because I don't think they experience live theatre, a lot of them necessarily had ever seen anything. I think as an actor it's great, because they don't just give you a round of applause at the end if you're rubbish. You kind of know if they're bored, if you're not really drawing their attention. So there's a sort of brutal honesty to that. So I think as a young actor you learn to be quite intuitive about what's going on, and pacing and doing all the kind of general tricks of the trade. I think that's probably it. Because I think it's always challenging, and it's never a play that you sit back and just watch. There's always an issue, and it doesn't. I don't mean it's a. Because sometimes when you get issue-based theatre, it's always then the storyline is somehow seen not to be as effective because you're putting things in it that you want in it. I've never felt like that in any Waitoring piece that I've seen, and so I think that they get to think about issues, whether it be teenage pregnancy or genes and genetic, and should we be interfering with what we're doing with kind of humans. It's challenging stuff, and just from the live theatre point of view, I think that experience, because it's remembered, so when you go back to a school, quite often they'll say, oh, my brother said that he saw something from Waitoring 2 years ago and he said it was all right, and that's high praise from a kind of 14-year-old boy often to hear that. Fantastic. It's a very weak word, but that's the word I'll go with. I think it's a really great company that does really, really good work for a really good audience.